No one ever imagined what I was carrying. They saw me smiling, functioning, talking, working, living. But inside, I was falling apart. Since I was a child, I was taught to hide pain. I was trained to be strong, to never cry, to never complain. And the more I stayed silent, the more the pain grew. There were days I didn't want to die. I just wanted to stop. Stop pretending. Stop smiling when everything hurt. And I was good at pretending. So good, even I forgot who I really was. The world saw one version of me, but the real me was buried deep down. I got used to suffering in silence, waking up every day, acting like everything was fine, but every day was a fight just to keep breathing. I was alive, but I wasn't really living. People thought I had it all together. They called me strong, resilient, a fighter, but none of them saw what happened when the lights were off, and I was alone. The silence in my room was deafening. It was in that silence that I met my thoughts. And those thoughts, they weren't kind. Every memory I buried, every word that hurt, every wound I pretended didn't exist, came rushing back, night after night. I felt like I was drowning in a place no one could see, smiling in public, screaming in private. I became a master at faking normal. But deep inside, I was running out of strength, running out of hope, running out of reasons to keep pretending. There was a weight on my chest, heavy, invisible, and it followed me everywhere. I kept asking myself, when will someone finally see the real me? It happened on a regular Tuesday, just another day, or so I thought. I was in a meeting, pretending, like always, pretending I was focused, pretending I cared, pretending I was okay. And then, my chest tightened, my hands started shaking, and I couldn't breathe. I excused myself and walked to the bathroom, locked the door, and I broke. I cried, not the quiet kind of cry, but the cry that comes from deep, the kind that rips through your soul. I slid down the wall and sat on that cold floor, feeling like a child again, helpless, exhausted, done. That was the moment I knew. I couldn't fake it anymore. I couldn't carry it alone. Something had to change, or I wouldn't survive the weight of silence much longer. With trembling hands, I grabbed my phone. I didn't know what to say, so I just typed, "I need to talk to someone. I'm not okay." And I hit send. Seconds felt like hours. I stared at the screen, waiting. Part of me hoped for no reply, because that would mean I could go back to hiding. But she answered, "I'm coming over, right now." She didn't ask questions. She didn't judge. She just came. And when she sat across from me, I couldn't hold back anymore. I told her everything. The nights I couldn't sleep, the mornings I didn't want to wake up, the weight, the fear, the shame. And she didn't look away. She stayed. She listened. She saw me. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel invisible. Something shifted after that night. It was as if speaking the pain out loud had unlocked a door I didn't know existed. The next day, I did something I never thought I'd do. I called my family, not for small talk, not to pretend everything was fine, but to tell them the truth. I told them about the darkness, the anxiety, the moments I felt like disappearing, the weight I'd carried for years, alone. There was silence on the other end, then tears. Some denied it, some couldn't handle it, but deep down, they knew. They had seen the signs, heard the silence, felt the distance, and finally they listened. It wasn't easy. There were awkward moments, painful confessions, but for the first time, the truth had a voice. And in that moment, the shame lost its grip, the fear loosened its chains, and the darkness, it started to lift. Because the truth doesn't just hurt, it heals. The healing didn't come all at once. It wasn't like flipping a switch. No, it was more like learning to walk again after forgetting how to stand. I started therapy. At first, it was uncomfortable, sitting in silence, trying to untangle years of buried emotions. But each session felt like a step back to myself. I began praying again, not like before, not the rehearsed words I was taught as a child, but real prayers, raw, messy, honest. Sometimes I yelled at God, sometimes I wept in silence. But for the first time, I felt like He was listening. I forgave, not for them, but for me, because I realized holding on to pain was just another way of reliving it. I forgave the ones who hurt me. I forgave myself for staying silent. And with every layer I peeled away, I started to feel lighter. I was no longer defined by what broke me. I was being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, free. If you're hearing my voice right now, I don't believe it's by accident. Maybe you've been carrying your own silent pain, smiling through the weight, pretending everything's okay when it's not. Maybe no one sees you. Maybe no one asks how you really are. Or maybe you've just gotten really good at hiding. But let me tell you something. You don't have to carry it alone. There is power in being honest. There is healing in being seen. There is strength in vulnerability. You are not weak for breaking down. You are human. And being human means feeling deeply, hurting deeply, but also healing deeply. Your story isn't over. Your pain isn't your identity. You are not what happened to you. You are becoming. You are rising. You are rebuilding something sacred inside of you. So take the next breath. Say the first word. Ask for help. Tell your truth. Because the moment you do, you take your power back. And from that moment on, everything can begin to change.